Hi, and welcome to episode 4, where we wrap up our tour of Epic Universe with the last few lands. Hi, welcome to the continuing adventures of Two Gray Mice. I'm Meg.
And I'm Rob.
And we are Two Gray Mice. Okay, moving right around the park. Do.
Where are we going next?
Dark Universe. That was our first one we went into.
Yep. Just got sucked right on in.
Yeah, which was perfect because we ended up walking onto Monsters Unchained, which hadn't had a chance to break down yet.
Yeah. And of all the rides that we went on when we were at Epic Universe, that ride floored me in a way that I didn't really expect. From the queue going in to the little pre-show that goes on, to the actual ride itself. There are going to be so many times where you are going to be really confused as to whether you're looking at a real live person, an animatronic, a projection, a combination of all of them. Just a phenomenal ride. Great story. Wow. Yeah. I had this huge grin from ear to ear when we got off. I was terrified during certain portions of it because, yes, I can be a bit of a wuss, but yeah, fantastic. And smooth, I think, much smoother than its sister ride, which is, what is that called?
Forbidden Journey
over at...
Because it's the same Kuka arm system, different ride vehicle attached to the Kuka arm, similar. And also the same loading, so continuous loading, the whole...
Right, but when we were first researching it, and I was like, oh, that's the ride vehicle. I was thoroughly prepared for a much different experience, and I think they've made such advances in the control that it really had so much more of a range of motion, I think, than the other ride. And like I said, smooth, like Guardians of the Galaxy smooth.
Well, I got nervous for two reasons going on. One, in the pre-show, Igor shows you the ride mechanism, and it's flopping back and forth and going and like really quickly. And I'm like, if it goes that fast in that motion, I'm going to need a barf bag.
Right, and it did make the crazy motions that he demonstrates, just a little on the slower side.
So you can.
But there's one point in time where we were in the ride vehicle, and it comes sweeping around and up, and you're positive you're going to brush the ceiling.
Oh yeah,
you're positive you're going to brush the ceiling.
This is where my other fear is I don't like jump stairs. I will scream on the top of my little tiny lungs every time. I can know you're behind the door. You jump out and say "boo!" I scream.
And there were a couple. There were a couple of those on this ride.
Right. So that was like, if there's too many, I'm just going to be screaming the entire time. But like you brush the ceiling, and then there's all of a sudden you're staring at a face that's all hairy, and you're like, okay, where did you come from?
Yeah, like there's one portion of the ride where you sort of come out of like this twisty turn, and you're suddenly plunged downward into a black void. I mean, it's just like pitch black. There's nothing there. And then the lights come on. And that was not going to tell you what creature's there. But that got my heart going. Yeah, it was a great ride.
Fun ride. I mean, my only problem with our experience on the ride was it was basically a walk-on for us.
Yeah.
So this queue is amazing. And
we caught all of the pre-show, but we kind of rushed through the queue. But there was just so much to see.
Just walking pace.
Yeah.
And we should have got back on the ride later on, just taking our sweet time walking through the queue.
Right. And this is going to be a reoccurring theme, I think, when you go to Epic and you go on these rides. The queues, they spent as much time theming the queues as they did theming the rides. So, even though on a couple of the rides we spent time waiting in line, there was so much to see, so you didn't necessarily have to be looking at your phone all the time going, There was all this fun stuff around. While we were there, Curse of the Werewolf was not operating, so we did not get to experience that ride.
It's a roller coaster. There are two cars So it's not like a long train, just 2 cars, and they both spin independently. So if you've been on Guardians of the Galaxy, you kind of have that spin, but it's not a programmed spin. It's done by gravity and momentum. So depending on the weight in the car and how the weight's distributed, kind of depends on how much you spin.
Yes.
And everybody has told me it's just amazing. And looking at the ads that Universal just put out for Universal Hollywood, it's the same mechanism that they're going to be using for Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, because when it looks like a car, you kind of look like you're drifting. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we did see a video after we got home, and the ride looks trippy. Looks like it's an awful lot of fun.
Yep.
So while we were there, we drank.
We went to the Burning Blade.
We drank at the Burning. Had to have a drink at the Burning Blade, and the Burning Blade has a secret cocktail. So you'll be asked a series of questions when you get to the bar to order your cocktail. And it was, the theming's great, very dark and moody on the inside. There's a lovely seating area outside. There is quick service there.
Right, a counter service, mobile order pickup.
Yep.
But you pick it up from the outside. You can't get it from the inside bar.
Yeah, right.
That's the only odd part.
That was odd. But like I said, there was seating outside, seating inside, and it catches on fire every 20 minutes. It's great.
Yeah, it was great. We both got the same drink. We both got the special drink. They also have a really cool smoked drink. And there's characters in there that will quiz you to make sure that you're not one of the monsters, because they're all monster hunters.
Right. But again, if you don't like something on the menu, you have a knowledgeable barkeep and you have a decent back bar. And they'll make you what you want. And we did not eat. We did not eat at Das Steakhouse.
No, we didn't eat in Dark Universe at all.
Right. Although we did see a lovely review. So
what? And I went in it.
Yeah,
I went in to get the vibe and
right. And it's
very cool.
It's really cool inside. It's really cool inside. There's this one section of the dining room where it's basically just a huge series of gigantic iron bars on the outside of the building, and the dining area is on the other side of that, which I thought was kind of cool. And big, big row tables.
Well, and also smaller tables, so you don't have to sit with
right. And
people
an interesting
from
what we saw on the menu, an interesting selection of foods that will be served to you on a steak. Yeah, it looked really fun. Next time we go back, we're definitely going to eat.
Yeah, I mean, there was just so many places we could have eaten that, and we aren't big eaters in many ways. But again, the roving character actors were amazing. We saw the Invisible Man. We saw the violinist / storyteller. We did not see Igor.
But he wanders around from time to time.
And we didn't see the Mr. and Mrs. either, though they wander. I saw them from a distance. The gift shops.
Great sound effects.
Oh, great sound effects.
Great sound effects as you're wandering around. Really interesting architectural details. Funny signs.
Just a
skeleton in a cage.
Right. The details, even like the bathrooms are black fixtures, black toilet bowls. The shops were wonderful. They were very well themed.
Yeah.
And they had some great, appropriately, Universal Monster stuff. You can get your full face makeup done there.
Right. And what was interesting, I thought, about the gift shop is, so it's very dark and moody inside the gift shop, but you can't have a dark and moody gift shop because you want the people to see what it is that they're buying. But the way they work the lighting into the casework, you never really felt like you couldn't see inside of it, but still you had this feeling that you were. It's very, very, very well done.
Well, because it was in Frankenstein's castle. In the front, there's another small one, and that's where you can buy the costumes and get your full makeup done. With the understanding that if you get the makeup done, you can no longer purchase alcoholic beverages because you no longer match your ID.
Mm-hmm.
But Dark Universe was wonderful. Monsters Unchained, you must be 48 inches tall to ride the ride. The Curse of the Werewolf, you can be 40 inches tall to ride it, but you must have a companion with you until you are 48 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
So riding with a friend until you're 48 inches tall.
And I think there's also, I think we got a pretzel there the one night, but there was like this little stand that was in between the Burning Blade and Frankenstein's
we did.
Castle.
That's what we got the.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they did. The Franken pretzels, they look like Frankenstein Frank, they look like his face.
They look like his face.
Kind of
So
like
there's,
the Shrek ones.
not a really huge land. I mean, you're not going to spend, more than 3 hours there, even if you do and see everything. But charming, very well themed.
I think it's going to be the first land they expand because I think
Yeah,
it's the
great,
smallest one.
and great reinforcement too throughout.
After that, we wandered over to, I'm sorry, my favorite land.
Definitely my favorite land.
Yeah, the Isle of Burke.
Isle of Burke.
We have dragons.
Lots of dragons. I have to say I didn't know anything about the film until about 2 weeks before we went down. And then I was subjected to watching it, and I was like, what am I watching? 10 minutes in, I was hooked. And if you're a fan of the cartoon, and we know the live action's coming out this summer, if you're a fan of the cartoon, they took that cartoon and they created a 3-dimensional version of it in the middle of Orlando. There's really no way to describe it. You have to go and see it for yourself. By far, one of the most magical parks I've been in a while. Just a phenomenal effort. There's dragons everywhere. There's a ton of stuff to do. We didn't get food while we were in the Isle of Burke, right?
Nope.
Yep. But we understand that the food offerings there are not only unique, but really, really tasty.
Well, the mac and cheese in the cone, bread cones?
In a bread cone, yeah.
Supposedly everybody's like, that's what everybody's raving about.
Yeah, peanut butter jam or whatever the concoctions are. We saw nothing but happy, smiling faces wherever we went in Burke. It's that kind of a park. Just phenomenal.
What we rope dropped this park. So we had early admission. We wandered around a little bit and we waited outside of Burke for it to open so that we were the first people in. I would recommend doing that even to this day. We went immediately to Hiccup's Wing Glider. I wouldn't do that. Actually, what we learned is I would rope drop meeting Toothless.
Not that waiting an hour online wasn't completely and totally worth it.
But I would rope drop.
Yeah.
So Toothless. We immediately went to Hiccup's Wing Glider, which also ends up with a long line too.
It does, because it's a Slinky Dog style
a little more thrilling
coaster, a little more thrilling, I think, in some ways, yeah. But just a really, really fun coaster, and you go zipping all around Burke, under things, over things, just an awful lot of fun. But also in the Isle of Burke is one of the 2 shows that you have to go to while you're at Epic Universe, the Untrainable Dragon. And between us taking in the Untrainable Dragon and meeting Toothless, I felt like a little kid again.
Oh, yeah.
I really did. And it's so hard to impress me sometimes.
Oh, yeah. You're impossible to impress.
Yeah. I work in the entertainment industry. I've built some really, really slick and neat stuff for theme parks in the past. I know how a lot of this stuff works. When Toothless first appeared in the show with Hiccup on his back, it's a live actor on his back. This is an aerial animatronic puppet of the highest nature, because once the dinosaur landed, dragon. Once the dragon landed on the stage, still moving around, even as Hiccup got off of it, interacting with Hiccup, interacting with the other characters on stage, and then it sort of like squats down and hops up and takes off. Now it's being lifted into the air. I know that, but just the whole experience, it was a fantastic show.
I cried again.
Yeah, just a fantastic show. And then we got out of the show, and we stood online for an hour so we could meet Toothless.
Right. And we were very lucky in the sense that we got to meet Hiccup at the same time we met Toothless. But I think we covered all of that in the fan and all that fun stuff the last time.
Yeah. Just a phenomenal park. And
gotta
Hiccup,
go. There's a story behind Hiccup's Wing Glider, which is basically Hiccup has come up with a way of demonstrating to everybody else what it feels like to ride on the back of a dragon, and to teach them how to ride on the back of a dragon before they have a dragon friend of their own. And Toothless is very jealous about this. So before you're ready to take off, there's an animatronic Toothless at the beginning of the ride, and he basically hits the big red button.
Hits the big red button, off
and
you go.
sends you off. And the look on his face, I mean, it's the same, but it's great.
It was hilarious. Here you go.
You have to be 40 inches tall to ride Hiccups. At 48 inches tall, you can then ride alone.
Mm-hmm.
The other ride we went on, which we waited a little bit.
We waited a little bit for the fire drill. It's a water ride. If you don't like getting wet, probably is not the ride for you. You're told.
Several times.
I could swear to this. You're told that by hitting the targets, you will protect yourself and the occupants of your boat. I think that's a crock, because I was laser focused on the one target and I was nailing it, and I got like fire hydranted in a major way.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. If you wear the quick dry clothing, if you're a fan of that, you'll dry off quick.
And it aims. So like at one point you were drenched. I got like only half of me got drenched. The girl next to me was completely dry.
You can shoot the other boats at certain points during the ride.
Oh, and people were definitely shooting it. But at the same time, sometimes it has some problems. Sometimes it was hard to aim high enough to hit the targets.
Yeah.
And sometimes my stream was a little weak.
Your stream was weak.
I hate when my stream is weak.
And we sort of saw, they have this open weave mesh on the outside that the water cannons poke through, so you can see through. And it looked like they were trying to sort of like limit the amount that you could go up or down, left or right with the guns. And we saw that sort of like in practice, because while we were waiting in the queue, there's one portion where you get down close to the ride where there's a fence to your left, and on the other side of that fence are about 20 targets. So everybody is shooting at the targets at that fence. And I think if they didn't limit the amount of height that you could get, you could definitely like shoot the people in the queue on the other side of the fence.
Completely.
Yeah. So yeah.
Completely and totally.
But a fun ride. And again, great theming.
Great theming.
Yeah.
Excellent theming. You have to be 48 inches tall to ride a good old fire drill. To get wet. And basically just so you can, I think, reach the
device,
the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got wet before we even got on. It was great. The main quick service dining hall in the Isle of Burke is Mead Hall. It is the same as the rest, so it's a quick service, but yet you sit down, scan at the table, get ordered. We did not eat there.
But again,
went inside, wonderful theming.
Yeah, really cool.
Handmade tapestry on all the walls that tell the story of Burke and Hiccup and Toothless and Astrid, and everybody's all over the place. It's absolutely, it's wonderful. There is a Stoics chairs at one end that you can sit in and pretend you're chieftain. Just brings you right in. We did not see, I saw the twins from a distance. We didn't see too many roving actors, though we've seen roving actors. We saw Astrid and Stormfly.
But they were at the Toothless.
Yes, but I saw them also
meet and greet
when they walking out in between shows, walking around. Because when she first came, she came in from the land, not from backstage. You have the twins, Rough Nut and Tough Nut, walking around. And then you have the Night Lights, which is Toothless's kids, which we didn't see either.
No.
And you'll have also, what's his name? The blacksmith. He wasn't there either because they were having problems with his dragon, his animatronic dragon. The first 2 days we were there. The third day it was finally open, but he wasn't there.
Right, just the dragon.
But he's normally in his shop interacting with people.
Doing his thing. But that
right now I can't remember.
But that dragon puppet.
But
with the snoring and the rolling. Oh my God, hilarious.
Huge. Hilarious.
And then the other thing that we'll say about the Isle of Burke, incredibly interactive. Everywhere you went, there was stuff for the kids to touch, stuff for the kids to do. There's the Viking training area, which, I mean, I think people might have thought it was a little weird that these two adults were just wandering around this kids area. But so imagine the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse,
Viking
but with a
themed.
Viking theme.
Yeah.
And stuff to climb, stuff to push around, stuff to go round and round in circles. Just very, very interactive and a great place for the kids to work off a little excess energy.
The last ride in the land is Dragon Racers Rally, which has, I think it's 6 dragons that you ride on one end and a weight on the other. So it looks kind of like a seesaw-like thing. It spins. It brings you up pretty high. The entire time we were there, the wait was never really less than an hour, so we never went on it.
Right.
It looked fun. It looked interesting. We were a little nervous about the height. You have to be 48 inches tall, again, to ride this particular ride. I've heard great things about it. I hear that it's gotten a little easier because you can move the dragons left and right.
As you're sitting in it, there's 2 handles. There's one on either side. And if you time it right and you're on the outside in the middle, you supposedly can do a loop-the-loop, go around and around. We did notice that once or twice while we were watching the ride going off while we were there. It looks like a lot of fun, but as Meg said, long line and not necessarily my cup of tea. I had no desire to.
Right, and I didn't want to do it myself.
Yeah.
I'll wait on line for an hour by myself.
Sure.
So that was the Isle of Berg.
Isle of Berg.
Do-do-do.
Do-do-do.
The next land, which is the land we actually spent the least time in, which we kind of went over very much so in our last episode, was Super Nintendo World. We are not big video game players.
Not a big Donkey Kong
anything.
Type of person. That sort of missed me. Came out after my interest in gaming waned.
Still an amazing land.
But
Gaming was
I have
just
to say,
mind blowing.
Holy cow! And again, a huge effort to set up all these interactive areas throughout the park. And again, wherever we went, smiling, happy faces. And it really, and next to Isle of Berg, a very, very magical area.
They have 3 rides in there. The first one is Mario Kart, which we did not do in Orlando because we had just done it in January in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyable ride. The technology is amazing.
Yeah, technology is fantastic.
Because it's alternate reality. A visor on that's projecting what you're shooting at and what you're seeing on this amazing 3-dimensional set that you're riding through. We didn't thoroughly enjoy it, but we've never really played Mario Kart either. And we were on a VIP tour.
Right. So I was unsure of the.
So when you take a VIP tour, or if I'm not mistaken, also when you do Express Pass, you miss like the tutorial section of the queue, which I think we needed.
Yeah.
So we were unsure what we were doing. So it wasn't as enjoyable for us. We didn't understand who we should be hitting or what anything really was. So I think that's where we miss out on this land. I think we need to do a little more research and maybe get Timmy to play Mario Kart with us before we go next time.
Yeah, the other ride is Yoshi's Adventure, which was great. It's a slow-moving conveyor ride. Think
People Mover.
Or what was that other ride that we did at Disneyland when we were in California? Mr. Toad's Wild Ride? Was it?
No,
that
wasn't
that.
That's Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is a wild ride. I don't know.
Okay, we don't remember. But it's a slow conveyor ride. Takes you in and out. So you pop out a couple of times. Great views of the park when you come out into these outdoor areas. Again, an interactive ride because there's eggs that you can spot and find, and then you have to hit the button that's in the car. Just I thought a cute, fun little ride.
Yeah, it was great.
And then the final ride,
Minecart Madness.
Minecart Madness.
Donkey Kong. So it's a roller coaster. It is attached to the railing with the arm. So you look like you're on one track, but in reality, you're on a track underneath it.
I think so. So for me, you from several places when you're waiting on the queue and from when you're wandering around the park, you can see the ride vehicle. So you understand exactly what's going on here. But so it's like a roller coaster, but instead of your car being right on top of the rails, your car is 6 feet off the rails on this large arm plate, if you will. So while you're riding around, it's supposed to look like you get to all these areas where the track is at. And there's a lot of bouncing and a lot of side to side. It was a totally fun ride. So quick.
Yeah, it's very
So
fast.
fast.
But it's a little rough. It tosses you back and forth, but it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's designed to do that because you're jumping.
Hunky chunky.
Yeah, it's a broken track. So you're jumping over broken things. A lot of people don't like it because of that. And I think roller coasters have become so smooth, they're expecting that. And it's designed not to be smooth, but I found it very much fun.
Yeah, I found it very much fun too.
So Mario Kart, you need to be 40 inches tall to ride. At 48 inches, you can ditch your friend. Yoshi's, you have to be 34 inches tall. At 48 inches, you can ditch your friend. Minecart Madness is 40 inches. And then, of course, at 48 inches, you can still ditch your friend. The last world is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, the Ministry of Magic. Now, this was two worlds in one.
In a way, yeah.
Well, because you've got
sure
1920s Paris and 1984 Ministry of Magic.
Right, 1990s, yeah. Again, so they were having a lot of problems with the Ministry of Magic ride while we were there, and it was never operating the 3 days we were there. But they did open up the queue, so you could wander through and see what they've done. And if the ride is half of what the queue was like, it's a phenomenal ride.
And it's also
never seen
the Cuco arm again.
Yeah, I have never seen a queue so thoughtfully put together. You know, that whole part of the Harry Potter series I'm less familiar with, but I do remember seeing an awful lot of still images, wandering through and looking at all this stuff. It was just amazing. It was just fantastic. And then the other thing that is there is the Cirque d'Arcana. That's the other show. And we've seen so many reviews of people who've gone to see the show, people who've actually gotten up and walked out of the show at like the 6-minute mark or the 7-minute mark because they're like, I don't know what I'm watching, but I got to get out of here. This is lame. It's right at that point where it just goes
being lame.
Right. It goes someplace I certainly wasn't expecting it to go. Again, the queue is wonderful. The pre-show before the show was magical and a little creepy, scary.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely creepy, scary because he's kind of a creepy guy.
Yeah. But the show itself, I didn't see it coming. What we wound up witnessing. We'll put it this way: the apparatus that's used during the show to change the stage just blew me away. One of the most amazing creations I've ever seen. And again, it's I'm a little jaded. It's hard to impress me. You know, like I've said to a couple of people since we've been back, you have to see both the shows. You have to see Cirque d'Arcana. You have to see The Untrainable Dragon. Just like they did with so many of the rides there in the park. They just did a phenomenal job with the stage shows.
Yeah.
Both of them are very unexpected and very pleasant and a lot of fun.
While we were in the world, we also walked down to the far little tiny corner there and went to Bar Moonshine, which is a counter service bar. It's the only other way I can think of putting it.
Yeah. And so we're going to go out on a limb here and say that Bar Moonshine is not like a lot of the other establishments there where they'll create any cocktail that you want if you don't want one that's on the menu.
No, they have a very set menu.
Yeah, but I have to tell you, they're creating these cocktails from raw ingredients in front of you. And it's not like it's, somebody's pulling a handle and serving you a cocktail. The theming inside Bar Moonshine was really cool. Their outfits are great. Super personable.
Oh, no, the guys were great.
Yeah. And while we were there enjoying our cocktail, several young ladies wandered around, students, in their outfits,
One from the American school, one from the French school, and one from Great Britain.
Yeah, and so you had this. They had a lovely banter going on with each other. So they're again a character meet and greetish kind of feel.
And I saw an
authenticity,
an aura also walking around and interacting with other guests that were there that we didn't see. While we're there, I got the sherbet lemon, which was vodka, sweetened herbaceous lemon liqueur, lemon bitters, ginger beer, lemon sugar rimmed, and lavender. I could not get this again. It was okay. It was a little, and I think it's actually the ginger beer. I'd never had ginger beer before. It was not my
not
favorite.
Your cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea. But the worst part actually was the lavender, because it's actually lavender flowers. So they're small and you're drinking them. So it was almost kind of like there was
like these little bits,
ants or bugs or something in my drink. I couldn't. No. You enjoyed yours though.
I liked wine very much.
You got the Floor 75.
Yeah.
Which was gin, elderflower liqueur, zesty lemon juice, simple syrup added to a flute of sparkling wine.
Yep. Incredibly refreshing. Definitely would get it again. Wanted another one after I finished the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. And great little plastic glasses that you can, we brought them home.
Well, you brought them home.
Yes. Then we had lunch at, everybody's been talking about the French cafe right as soon as you walk in and how wonderful it is, and the crepes, and that's where you can get your butter, your beer crepe and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but we ate.
It was packed.
Yeah, we ate on the poorer side of town.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it's just like with Diagon Alley.
Right. It's kind of like the Nocturne Alley version of France.
Right. So you slip through what looks like it's just like this little alley. And then the next thing you know, you're not in, bustling Paris anymore. You're in like this,
dark back alley.
Bad part of town.
At the Le Goblet Noir, which was also, just keep butchering that French. Well, you're French. You say it.
I'm going to butcher it too. Le Goblet Noir.
That was probably better than I did it. Yeah. You should get the girl in
so
here.
It's a sit down quick service again. And while we were there, I got the Wizard Brew bratwurst sandwich, caramelized onions, beer cheese, and 7 German mustard in a pretzel bun with fries. Really yummy. Really, really tasty. You had the coq au vin with the pomme puree, red wine, marinated chicken, mushrooms, pancetta, and pearl onions. And that I thought you enjoyed.
I enjoyed it a great deal. I mean, I, of course, moved all the pearl onions aside.
Yeah, that's
Thanksgiving nightmares from childhood. But it was wonderful. It was very good. Came out very quick, the correct temperature. We both got an alcoholic beverage, but I can't remember what we got.
Well, I had one of the house beers.
Right. I think I got a cider or a glass of wine. But it was wonderful. And it was, the theming in there was great.
Yep.
It looked like it was made in the 1800s and never got updated, but that went with the atmosphere outside as well.
I felt we got our money's worth for sure. It was a moderately priced meal, and I was full when we left. And what's interesting too about this whole area, so they now have a second generation wand out there, and there's not as many places to do wand magic, I think, as there are in Diagon Alley. I could be wrong, but at least that was my initial reflection. If you have one of the original wands, they will not work there.
No, they do work.
Oh, they do work.
They don't do everything.
They don't unlock every
right. So
spell.
Something will happen, but not the full extent.
Right. Now I remember.
So I think like the guy just pops up, but he doesn't spit water at you, things like that.
But even if you're wandering around, you don't have a wand. The thing I loved the most about that area was the attention to detail with the storefronts. Even if it wasn't a functional storefront, you thought it was. Little vignettes inside the windows,
Easter eggs everywhere. Back to the other areas.
When we were coming out of our meal, so there's a portrait studio in the one corner, and there's a portrait behind the window that interacts with you, talks to you.
Yeah, there's an actress behind there someplace.
Right.
She can see you. She can hear you.
But as she's mouthing the words, the mouth on the picture's moving.
Right, as she's speaking.
In very good sync.
Yes.
Again, really top shelf technology that's used in a fun and interactive way. I enjoyed the whole Ministry of Magic area. And again, as you're first entering it, you're going through this large porcelain, almost looks like a train station-ish type of area. And you're like, what am I walking into? You hear motor scooters, and then literally you're right there. You're right there in Paris and in the 20s. And it's a delightful area. Great attention to detail. And yeah, I enjoyed it. All right, we're bringing it home.
Okie dokie. So that covers all of the lands. What is your overall opinion? My overall opinion.
Considering they were having the hiccups that they were having and they were getting all through it, I thought it was just one of the most inventive, well-themed parks I've been at. Definitely a new fave of mine. Can't wait to go back because just like with all these parks, I don't think we even scratched the surface of really experiencing the entire park. I will say, if you're going down there as a first timer and you're trying to do everything in a day, you're going to be disappointed. I feel it's definitely a 2-day or 3-day park, for sure. But as we also reflected on our last podcast, with the addition of this park, Universal Orlando is now a week-long destination. You could definitely go down there for 8 days and not be bored between the 3 parks, the City Walk area, their water parks, and I just think they've done a phenomenal job with the theming, with their rooms, with their transportation. Really, in my mind, just as solid a value as Walt Disney World, and maybe even just a tad less expensive. Yeah, like I said, I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful park, and I've seen lots of things on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube complaining about the park, complaining that the rides still are breaking down, and yeah, if we hadn't done this, if going and visiting wasn't an intricate part of my job in the sense of being a travel advisor, I need to understand this park. I probably would have waited until December to go down, so I knew all the kinks were worked out. But, and then people are complaining about the lack of shade and things like that. I think there's places in this park to get out of the heat, to get out of the sun. There is shade. The one spot, someone had given a picture of the crowds right in front of one of the food stands. Well, no, there's no shade in front of the food stands because it's the main aisle.
Right.
Just like every other park in Orlando. It's going to be hot and sunny in May, June, July, August, September. It's just going to be. But I think you have to be prepared for that.
Yeah. I was surprised when you told me that people were complaining that there weren't places to sit down. There weren't places to get out of the sun. I didn't feel that at all. I did not feel that at all.
No, and it was hot when we were there. I mean, not brutally hot.
Not brutally hot, but it was still that one day. It was, it was in the 80s and the humidity was high. So it was uncomfortable. We dressed accordingly. But the couple of times where we wanted to get out of the sun, we got out of the sun. And we didn't have any issue getting out of the sun either.
Right.
And then, too, some people were complaining that it was such a long bus ride to get there from
the other hotels.
The main hotels. Now, we didn't do the bus loop. We did not go to City Walk or back to Cabana Bay, even though that's a fun hotel.
That's a fun hotel.
But it's no longer of a journey than, say, you were saying at Sarasota.
And going to
and going
Animal
to
Kingdom or
exactly. It's the same to me. That 12 or 13-minute ride. Are you going to spend longer maybe on some ride? Sometimes getting from point to point. Sure,
because also you're going through city streets in this case, but they are
right.
building that elevated bus area, so it's going to be a lot better. It's going to take a little time. I read someone complain that they spent 3 hours there and then they left. There was nothing to do. I'm like, then you didn't look very hard.
Then you didn't look very hard.
Or
then you were completely, totally setting yourself up to not have a good time.
Or none of these IPs appeal to you. You have to have some connection, I think, to the IPs to at least be open to that connection. So like Rob and I, we're not gamers. We haven't played a video game even with the kids in 20 years.
Right. Still absolutely floored over the area.
Because we were open to it. You have to open your mind to it. And we experienced it and we loved it. It was the shortest period of time we spent in any land. Yes. We still spent a couple of hours there exploring it all and enjoying it.
And this is what I'm going to say to anybody who's complaining so far about the frequency of the ride breakdowns and the waits. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that these rides were some of the most technologically advanced rides that I've seen in the theme park. So what Universal did was they set a really, really high bar, and they're not quite there yet. But at the same time, I would much rather be spending my money on some place that went all out and all in, and had a little disappointment here or there than some place that was just catering to the run of the mill. That was the one thing that I think really separates this park from some of the other theme parks that we've been to. The fact that I really felt wherever we went, they were trying to exceed expectations. They were trying to create a unique and special environment. And I mean, if we're judging it by that, 5 out of 5.
Yeah. No, it was wonderful. And it makes me very much look forward to whatever roller coaster they're going to put in to replace Rip Ride Rocket.
Yeah.
Because I never would go on that thing. Who the heck wants to go straight up really slowly? No. I'm so glad that's going away. Anyway, I think that covers everything.
I think we got through just about all of it. Yeah.
So thank you very much for listening. And I am Meg.
And I'm Rob.
And we are Two Gray Mice.
Well, we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye. Thank you for spending time with us today. Please like and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. For all your travel needs, please reach out to Meg at megandthemouse.com. Have a magical week.